Hey guys, Michael from Fire and Brilliance. In today's episode, you may want to tune in, especially if you are in the market to purchase a diamond, regardless if it's a lab form or a natural form. And I'll tell you why. If you are planning on proposing, or you're planning to buy something for yourself to treat yourself, or you're just actually in the market and you know how expensive diamonds can be, it could be into the couple of $1,000s to the tens of thousands to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So if you don't know about the 4Cs, then you may want to know. Today's a quick review on the 4Cs. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and break this down. What is the 4Cs and why is it important when purchasing a diamond? It is especially important when purchasing a diamond because it ultimately determines the quality of the stone that you are purchasing. And therefore, because it is determining the quality, it will ultimately determine the price and whether or not you are getting the best deal and the best bang for your buck. Okay, so you may ask, what is the 4Cs? What does it stand for? Once I break it down, it's going to be quite simple and you'll be able to understand it right away. Number one, it is the cut grade of a diamond. Yes, you heard that right. The first C is the cut. What does a cut determine in the grading of a gemstone? Well, if you ever take a look at a diamond certificate, if you ever get a chance to, they're basically going to determine the cut grade that will go anywhere from a poor cut all the way to an excellent cut. And depending on the certificate, it might be even an ideal cut, right? So obviously, if it's an excellent or an ideal cut or all the way down to a poor cut, all that basically means is how well is it cut to determine the quality of the sparkle, the quality of the reflection of light, basically the quality of the fire and brilliance that will show from the gemstone. Because a very poorly cut stone, the light reflection from the stone may not sparkle as nicely. So if you're purchasing a diamond, you want it to sparkle. That's the whole point of purchasing a diamond. And when you have a diamond on your ring or earrings or pendant or necklace or whatever it is that you decide to put it on, you want it to look nice, right? Why buy a diamond if it's not going to sparkle? Now, many people may like the fact that it's a poor cut grade, but most people prefer an excellent or an ideal cut diamond for obvious reasons, because they want it to look nice and they want it to sparkle. So that's number one, the first of the 4Cs. The second of the 4Cs is the carat weight. This is something that most people will know. Most people will say, hey, I want a 1 carat, I want a 2 carat, I want a 3 carat, I want a half a carat, I want a quarter carat, right? That is actually the weight of the gemstone. So depending on how big it is or how small it is will ultimately determine the price of the stone. It makes sense, right? So the smaller the stone, the least expensive it will be. The higher carat weight, the heavier it is, the more expensive the stone will be. That is the second of the 4Cs, which is what most people will normally think about when they're purchasing a diamond, is the carat weight. The third of the 4Cs is called the color. Yes, the color of a gemstone. As you can see in the diagram here, basically all the 4Cs, or the color of the 4Cs, determine is basically, if you're purchasing a diamond, the way it's graded is the more white it is, the more expensive it will be. And the warmer it is, or the more yellow it becomes, then the least expensive it will be. Now, I'm not talking about the outliers. I understand that there are very beautiful canary yellow diamonds. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the extreme yellows. I'm talking about warm colored diamonds that are a little brownish to yellowish type of color. That's usually not sought after. That's usually not something that people will like. I'm not saying not everyone will like it. I mean, obviously, there are people out there that love warm diamonds and gemstones, right? But what I'm saying is that based on the pricing on the 4Cs, typically the whiter the gemstone, the more expensive it will be. And it is graded anywhere between a D to a Z, D being the whitest to a Z being the warmest, okay? Again, colored diamonds are very expensive. If we're referring to yellow diamonds, red diamonds, blue diamonds, orange diamonds, those can be very, very expensive. I'm not referring to the extreme colors. What I'm referring to is the warmer it is, where it's not completely white, it's not completely yellow, it's just right in between, that's usually not sought after. So that is the color of the gemstone. So the warmer it is, the less expensive it will be. So that's the third of the 4Cs. And finally, last but not least, it's called The clarity. That is the fourth of the four C's. What is the clarity? Well, clarity is exactly what it means. It's how clear is the diamond when you look into it. Diamonds, natural or lab, even some labs do have inclusions. Basically, but we're referring mostly for naturals, is if naturals, if you're purchasing a natural diamond and there are multiple inclusions, meaning imperfections, because at the end of the day, a natural diamond is created in the Earth's core, right? It's very chaotic. It's not as if you're purchasing a lab diamond where it's created in a lab, where it's more of a controlled environment and people can actually ensure that the quality of the diamond is up to par in terms of a clarity grade. But if you're purchasing a natural diamond, the clarity grade usually will range. And there may be lots of imperfections, right? Because when it's being created in the Earth's core, it's so chaotic that not every single diamond will be super clear. So, in other words, if the diamond is very, 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 very clear, then it will be more expensive. And if the diamond is clear, where there's multiple inclusions, where you'll see brown marks, black marks, white marks, conclusions, clouds, imperfections inside of the gemstone. These imperfections, the more there that exists in these gemstones, the lower the price of the gemstones. Now, that said, there is a market for something called the salt and pepper diamonds. Basically, what salt and pepper diamonds are heavily included diamonds, and it's actually something that a lot of people do like, right? So I'm not discounting the fact that people do like these type of stones, but when we are referring to the four C's on a natural diamond, typically, or even on a lab grown diamond, when it is graded by a certificate or a lab, which will come with a certificate, these are the four C's that typically the price will be based off of. That is what you are paying for, right? So if you are paying for a diamond, you want to make sure that you are looking at the four C's and that the price reflects that. And it's extremely important because you want to get the most bang for your buck. Who wants to pay more when they don't have to? And who doesn't want to get more for less if they can, right? And last of all, this is not part of the four C's, but they should include it. Personally, I call it the fifth C. And what it is the certification. If you are going to spend X amount of money, diamonds can be very expensive, right? We all know that. It could be the thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, or even more. Then you may want to make sure that you are purchasing a diamond that has been sent into a laboratory and comes with a gemological laboratory certification. Because with this certification, basically what it does is that it validates the gemstone. It validates that you are getting the clarity, the cuts, the color, and the carat weight of that gemstone. So for example, let's just say if you were to go into a store where you purchase a diamond and it does not come with a certificate. All you have to trust is the word of the jeweler. Whereas if you're going to a jewelry store that has the certification of a reputable laboratory, then at least you can feel confident that the diamond you are purchasing with the four C's indicated on the certificate is exactly what you're paying for. So I highly recommend that if you are going to purchase a diamond, a lab diamond, a natural diamond, or whatever diamond it is that you decide to purchase, make sure especially if it's of a high value, that it comes with a lab certificate from a reputable laboratory. So that is the fifth C's. So again, those are the four C's plus an extra one, my fifth C, which is the cut, color, clarity, carat weight, and certificate. I know that a lot of people these days are going to propose, especially with summer coming pretty soon in the next couple of months. Many people do propose in the summer. Vacations are around the corner, etc., etc. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. And if you're not new to the channel, you've been watching us for a long time, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are also available on TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, you name it, we're there. Okay. So if you want to watch other types of content, make sure you also check us out there. You can follow me personally, or you can also follow Fire and Brilliance as well, or follow both. Now, that said, if you have not checked out our previous episode here, the last episode that we went over are 3 reasons why people like heart-shaped gemstones. And if you're a lover of heart-shaped gemstones, then make sure you go ahead and click and tap right here, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.